Check the description for the following discount codes. 3D Wrap sent me over a little box of goodies for the Fanatec CSL pedals, specifically the load cell brake pedal. It's like what you might call a tuning kit, so to speak. It's a selection of different strength elastomers, and I've left one in its packaging just to show you how it actually comes, along with 2 replacement, I suppose you might call them bushes, and I'll show you where they all go on the brake pedal in a minute. I also got, randomly, a pair of 3D Wrap socks as well, which I'm yet to try out, but that's not part of the review. And I got some 3D Wrap stickers, and like a couple of thank you cards, you know, one here just showing that they also do pedals and shifters and all sorts of, they actually do a lot of stuff if you look on the 3D Wrap website. It's not something I'd really paid attention to before, but they do steering wheels, pedals, shifters, handbrakes, and these, you know, elastomer mods here. Now this has come quite a good time because I've had a lot of comments on my review of the load cell pedal upgrade for these recently, saying that the travel they see in my review video is not what they're getting on their pedals, and that their pedals are a lot stiffer and just don't move as far as what mine seems to, you know, in my review here, which is interesting. I don't know whether Fanatec have stiffened up their sort of rubbers or elastomers versus what I've got here, but as far as I'm aware, this was a retail load cell, you know, upgrade pedal, because it came in the retail packaging. I wasn't told it was a beta or anything like that, so it should be what you guys are getting. But anyway, the 3D Wrap may well have come up with a solution to the issue anyway, for those of you that do say it's too heavy and doesn't move as far as you want. And this is very much personal preference. We sort of had this discussion in the comments when I reviewed the Invicta pedals. You know, Acertech say that race car pedals basically have a tiny bit of play that's taken up, and then the pedal goes rock hard. And, you know, in my own research, what I discovered is that some race cars operate like this and others definitely don't and have a lot more travel. And it's very much going to come down to the personal preference of the driver of the vehicle, and also what vehicle it is and how they come configured. So, you know, what we're doing here, there's no right or wrong. You can have your pedal exactly how you want to have it. Now, this is the point of these elastomers. Each elastomer you can buy separately. There's 2 different types. There is a progressive one, which is the one on the right, so my right here, and there is a linear one, which is the one on the left. You can see the shape is different, and there's an additional sort of, it's not a coil, but if it was a spring, you would call it a coil, additional band around the middle. That is the progressive one. This one hardens up as you depress it, whereas the linear one doesn't. It maintains a fixed amount of resistance, and that's really the only key difference between the two. Now I'm going to try and keep this simple because you can have all sorts of configurations. You can just add one linear elastomer in place of 2 of the original Fanatec ones. You could just add one progressive one in place of 2. You could add linear and progressive in place of all of the original ones. You could go linear, and you could go progressive. So you can do whatever you want. And obviously I can't relay to you how that feels underfoot, and it's going to be personal preference. Now, if you want to buy just one of these, they're about 18 euros. If you want to buy a pair, they're 33 euros. And obviously by buying a pair, you can then mix and match. But do you then buy a pair of linear? Do you buy a pair of progressive? Do you buy one of each? Oh, there's so many possibilities. It's entirely up to you what you choose to do here. But what I can explain is that the softest option that's going to give you the most amount of travel will be to use 2 linear elastomers in place of the original ones. And the most rigid or hardest to move would be by using 2 of the progressive elastomers. This is obviously in replacement of the original ones completely. And then you can mix and match. You know, you could use a linear and a progressive, which means the linear one will compress up first, and then the progressive, so the first part of the progressive one will squish up, and then you'll get to the hard part of the progressive one, and that'll be really quite hard. It's sort of, these progressive ones will do sort of 70% of their squish before they get really hard. But as I say, it's impossible for me to relay this all to you over a video, and there's so many possibilities by using some of the original ones as well. So, you know, in a perfect world, if your wallet allows it, you just buy 2 linear and 2 progressive, and then you can completely mix and match and play around to your heart's content to find out, you know, what works best for you. But that's basically how they are. The linear ones are the softest, the progressive ones are the hardest, and these 2 replacement bushes, they don't have any effect on the way the pedal feels. You'll see where they go in a second. Now, to swap these over is actually pretty simple, a tiny bit fiddly putting them back together. If you put, can you see that? Let me move this into shot a little bit more. So, if you just put these 2 fingers either side of the middle of the pedal, where the sort of load cell or elastomer assembly sits in, if you look, you can see where these 2 little bushes sit. They're just black plastic ones. So if you put your fingers either side of those, this will stop them falling off as we remove it. Then all you need to do is take 2 fingers, no comments please, place them at the top of the stack with your thumb under. All I can think of in my head now is a quote from a film which goes something like 2 in the pink, 1 in the, you'll know what it is. Anyway, the bowling ball grip. So your thumb underneath the bottom, your 2 fingers at the top, and you just squeeze, and it'll pop out just like that. So whether you can see this well or not, I don't know. But what I've got now is the complete stack, and it just lifts out like this. Now, pay attention to which way everything goes. You've got your big silver washer at the very bottom, followed by the silver smaller washer, which I've just dropped. And then you've got these discs here, and they go in between each of the elastomers. So it's only really that bottom section that you needed to remember the order of, which is small silver one, which I've dropped on the floor, then big silver one. What you're left with on the back of the pedals here, if I can do this without, it's just a black plastic. Oh, this is awkward. On the load cell there's just a black plastic washer on the load cell, and mine has not fallen off. You can probably, you can push it out. It actually goes all the way through to the back there, so you could push it out, but it isn't going to fall out. So that just stays there. That's no problem. Let me just find that washer. Yeah, there it is. So to put it back together, you literally just do the same. So I'm just going to demonstrate by changing out all of these for the 3D wrap ones. So you literally just take your little discs off, and then your rubbers or elastomers one at a time. Take them all off, because we're not going to use any of them in this example. And you leave one of these plastic discs at the very top, like that. Oh, and this is where those little black bushes are. One either side, one here, and one on the other side there. So I'm not going to put those back. I'll put the new ones on just to show you. So I've got my one plastic disc in the bottom. Let's just stick in the 2 linear ones, because I'm only going to show you how they fit. Slide it over like that. Get your disc, put that in the middle. Grab your other linear one, or whatever you might choose to do. Grab another disc and put it together. So that is what it will look like. You will be left over with spare black discs, and of course all the black inserts that were originally there in the first place. Now, don't forget to get your metal washer. Place that on there. And then your big metal washer, and place that on the bottom. It will move freely around here, because it actually sits securely on the black plastic insert on the load cell there. So don't be concerned that it looks like it's wobbling around here. That's absolutely fine. So I'm then going to get my little yellow bushes. I'm going to slide those over the sides there. Now what's handy here is they're actually quite snug, so they're not going to fall off like the original ones did, which makes it a bit easier to get them in and out. But you can see, so that's what your stack's going to look like when it's going back together, having changed out everything. And then all we do is literally the reverse of what I did a minute ago. Lift your pedal up so it's out of the way. And all you've got to do is make sure your silver washers don't fall off as you insert this little rod through the black plastic washer in the middle of the load cell. So just literally get that in first. It's actually pretty easy, it's not that fiddly. Kind of like that. Now your little yellow bushings, they've got like a flange on them. So here's the black one, the original black one. You can see there is a larger flange. If you just make sure they are inside the edges of the pedal, because that's where they've got to be. And again, take your two fingers here, place them either side, that way they can't pop off when you're doing it. Make sure you've got your rod lined up there with your load cell, and just gently squeeze and push it down back into place like that. And that is all there is to it. That's now my complete elastomer stack swapped out. Really, really easy. And that's the thing about this, to actually swap them around, it is pretty simple. So you can then, you know, swap these about, have a go with some of these to your heart's content to get it exactly how you want it. Now, I mean, I can really squish this with my hands. In fact, that's so much softer than what the original one was before. Again, you obviously, I can't relay that to you, but you'll just have to take my word for it that running the two linear ones is way softer than running all these original black ones from Fanatec. But I actually quite like the yellow, weirdly enough. I don't know why. It's just a nice bright colour. It's a cheerful colour. The purpose of changing the little bushings from black ones to yellow ones, the material's different. These feel like they're made of the same material as the elastomer. Now they say it's because these are prone to wear. I don't know how accurate that is. I can't say I've stumbled across people in the community complaining that their little black bushings have wore out on their load cell pedals, but it is a point of rotation, so maybe they can, maybe they can't. But to be honest, these elastomer ones here feel like a softer material than what these do. So who knows whether these are actually any better from that point of view or not, but they're like €5, €6. So if you want to buy a pair, you know, so you've got a spare set in case the original ones do wear out, you know, it's not a lot of money anyway. But that is the 3D wrap tuning kit. I mean, they just call it, they call the little bushes replacement rubber rings, and they call this just the elastomer brake mod. But, you know, if you buy all of them, you've got yourself a little tuning kit. I think it works just well, you know, just great. They pop in and out really easily. I mean, again, I'm just going to pop it out just to show you. Get your bowling ball grip ready, give them a little squeeze, and just gently lift it up and out. And just be careful not to drop all your washers on the floor. And, you know, that's literally how quick and easy it is to come out. There's just no, it's no bother at all, is it? But, yeah, there you go. So, yeah, I think for those of you that aren't 100% happy with the way the brake pedal feels and how much travel it has, this is a perfect way to sort that issue out. If you buy, you know, two of each, you've got so many customization options when you factor in the original, you know, ones as well. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, that should do it for today. There'll be a link in the description. I don't have a discount code for these, unfortunately, but they're not a lot of money, you know, anyway. But yeah, link in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching, and take it easy.